Hello, and welcome to Talk This Way. I'm your host, Marcia Martin. In today's episode, we embark on a profound journey through the realms of transformational leadership and personal growth. Have you ever wondered about the driving forces behind some of the most impactful personal development programs? Or how authentic communication can lead to personal and global transformation? Today, we'll dive deep into the world of EST, Landmark Forum, and the philosophies that have shaped millions of lives. We'll uncover tales of global travels, the importance of understanding diverse cultures, and the art of genuine connection. As we explore, we'll also touch upon newer horizons, including the exciting domain of space tourism. From my personal experiences with legends like Werner, Erhard, and Buckminster Fuller, to the future of transformational leadership, this episode promises a tapestry of insights, stories, and lessons. Whether you're a seasoned personal development enthusiast or just starting on your journey, there's something in here for everyone. So sit back, relax, and let's delve into a world of growth, challenges, and infinite possibilities. Let's get started.
It is with great pleasure that we see out the last edition of the House of Preeminence 2022 in the company of my figurehead, my original co-founder, executive editor, the illustrious, the dazzling, the very brilliant Marcia Martin, who is also a very dear friend. And I asked her to come and see out this final edition of Winter 2022 as we transition because of these very, very difficult times and because we both love transformation. So welcome and thank you for part of this again, Marcia.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Oh my gosh, this year has gone so fast. 2022, almost over. And everything that we've done with the magazine and all of our adventures, Jenny, I'm just so pleased to be here with you for this last edition.
Okay, well, kicking off, a really big question is why, after all of these years, these decades even, are you so in love with transformation still? What is it that gives you this passion for transformation and for transforming people's lives?
Well, I think that's it, transforming people's lives. That's the reward, really. People come to me and thank me and tell me their lives have changed and they're getting better results than they've ever have in their whole life in lots of different areas, whether it's their relationships working or having more money and being able to create miracles and producing better results. And their faces light up and I get all these beautiful messages and it's very fulfilling and rewarding. So my work is that it's my heart and I love doing it.
Well, and the results show for themselves. Hundreds of thousands of people transformed over the decades, and as an executive coach, in your capacity as a personal advisor, in all sorts of ways, the people you've touched on stage just amount to hundreds of thousands. You're a true light, and we want to keep you for as long as possible. So,
me too.
So you are also, as I said, the very epitome of preeminence, which is the 9 graces of excellence. Nobody can deny that. Distinction, nobody can deny that. Renown, nobody can deny that one. And they go on. Peerlessness, totally peerless. Prestige, you've lived a very, very prestigious lifestyle over the times that you've been as a transformational coach. What are we on next? Leadership. Still leading, still a leading light. Transcendence. Well, I know your personal story. There's been many, many things that you have overcome to just keep going and to expand into your own destiny. Endurance, nobody can deny you've got that as well. and hopefully some renewal that we both deserve. So yes, you really are the epitome of the 9 graces, and which is just one of the reasons why I love having you in the magazine and being a figurehead. I love the idea of a figurehead. So let's just take this to more specific around this edition, which is redefining feminine success in this new paradigm. So we know that over the last few years, as the world shifts, the importance of women, helping men as well, but just women emerging as leaders and people helpers has become one of the most vital things that we need for our planet. And many women still struggle to maintain a family life, body balance, all of those, abundance, and play their part. So it's really complex, Marcia. What would you say is what would you bring to that conversation about redefining feminine success in the new paradigm?
Well, first of all, I like to tell the whole audience I have my cat, Riley, my 3-year-old toddler, next to me, and she probably will come dancing through at any moment. See, there she is. I think that the whole world of womanhood is opening up because women are getting more in touch with their own power. And rather than it be about pleasing and nurturing, it's more now about leading and creating and making, a contribution as a leader, not just a follower. So I think that that's an important thing for all women to get in touch with, is their own leadership and their own inner power. And then I thought maybe we could spend some time, Jenny, in my last few weeks of coaching people. One of the things that's come up is people getting an insight into, and especially for women, because I work with a lot of women, into what stops them. Like, what are the barriers? And there's a way that I have of looking at some of the things that stop us because of the earlier decisions we made when we were young, when, we were so little and we thought, oh, this is what we need to do and act like because of our own survival. We need to be quiet, or we need to please others, or we need to be right about something. So if you want, I can kind of go into some of that. I think it would help everyone, not only the women, but just people in general.
That sounds awesome, because it's something that I've observed as well. So go ahead.
Yeah. There's a thing that I call when you run a racket. And a racket is where you're acting in a way that doesn't produce the result that you say that you want. And if you're running a racket, and it's an automatic behavior based on an old decision. So something triggers us in our environment, and then it reminds us of this old incident when we were young. And that old incident kind of comes up like a default program on your computer. It's kind of a default program for you as a human being of how to act out something. And you can tell it's a racket by a definition. And the definition is, if something is happening that you're complaining about. So it could be, I don't have enough money, or it could be, he doesn't give me enough attention, or it could be, no one ever invites me to a party. So it's a complaint, it's a concern, it's something that you're saying you don't want this and it's happening, you're complaining. And then the second part of it is, it keeps happening. Because think about that. If you have a complaint and you know what you're complaining about, usually you just go out and fix it, and then you don't have to complain about it anymore. So what's going on that you're complaining about something and it keeps happening? And then the third part of it is that while it is happening, there's a certain kind of emotional content or behavior associated with it. So it's maybe you feel needy, or maybe you feel abandoned, or maybe you feel angry, or maybe you feel anxious. But every time that you have this complaint and it keeps happening, that particular emotional content is associated with it as well. And then the fourth part of the definition is that if it's not in the interest of your aliveness, so it's not in our interest of our aliveness not to have enough money, and it's not in our interest of our aliveness not to be healthy. So if we're stressed and we're worried about something, you see Riley's tail, if we're stressed and worried about something, then that's not in the interest of our health, and that's part of our aliveness. So our aliveness we can consider is our love, health, happiness, and full self-expression. So what I mean by a racket is it looks like it's one thing, but it's really another. It looks like you really, really want that person to give you more attention. And you complain, you say, doesn't give me enough attention. She doesn't give me enough attention. It keeps happening that they keep doing things that prove to you that they don't give you enough attention. It keeps happening over and over, and you're complaining about it, and you want more, you say. So it looks like that's what you want, but the actual result kind of says a different thing. Because if you keep getting a different result than what you say that you want, maybe you want something different than what you're saying. So maybe it's camouflaged. That's what I mean by a racket. It looks one way, but it's really another. And what happens is the reasons these things happen to us is that there are payoffs. There's always a payoff to every racket that you run, and there's always a cost. And the payoff is always the same, and the cost is always the same. So the payoff is you get to be right, or you get to make someone wrong, or you get to justify a behavior. Now, what could you be right about? Let's say you're not getting enough attention. Well, maybe a long time ago, you made a decision based on something when you were 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 that you said inside, you internalized, you said, boy, I'm not lovable. I'm not worthwhile. I'm not enough. Others are more than me. Whatever that decision was, how could you prove that right? Well, by creating situations where people don't give you attention, or by creating situations where people abandon you, or by creating situations where you're excluded. Then you can be right about the fact that you're not enough. Or it might be that you get to make someone wrong. So maybe you said when you were little, I'll never do that like my dad did. Or I'll never do that like my mom did. And, you're making that behavior wrong. And so somehow that plays into it. Or you get to justify a behavior. Like if someone doesn't treat you the way you say that you want them to, it gives you the justification to be bitchy, or to be angry, or to be upset. All of the ways of expressing ourselves that aren't our highest self. So it justifies a behavior that we wouldn't normally act out. So when you have a racket, it's when you complain about something, it's not in the best interest of your aliveness to have that particular feeling. You have that particular feeling of despair or anxiety or whatever goes with it, and it keeps happening. Then we say it's a racket. And what we say is, it's not true that you are complaining because you don't want it. What's really going on is you're getting a payoff out of having it. So you really do want it because you get to make someone wrong, or you get to make someone right yourself about something, which could be as innocuous as I'm not worthwhile. And this situation now makes me right about that. You see, nobody loves me. I was right. Here it is again, telling me again that nobody loves me. That's a payoff. I get to be right about something, or I get to justify a behavior. So what I've been doing is working with people to have them know when it's a racket by those 4 items, and then start to look at, okay, what's the payoff? Who are you making wrong, or who are you making right? What's the behavior you're justifying? And then realizing what the cost is. And the cost is always the same, just like the payoff's always the same, the cost is always the same. And the cost is your aliveness, love, health, happiness, and full self-expression. You aren't expressing yourself in the biggest way that you could. You're hampering the love that you're receiving or you're experiencing. You're hurting your health and your happiness by running the racket and getting the payoff. And what happens is the more one becomes aware of what the payoff is and what the cost is, at some point, somewhere deep inside, we go, this isn't worth it. The payoff's not enough for me to sacrifice my aliveness. And then it pops, and suddenly you don't have to prove that particular thing anymore. And you won't have to have that complaint, because instead of creating situations that you have to complain about, you're creating situations the way you want them to be.
I love that. It's just such a beautiful way of being clear, because it is not easy to be clear. Because as doesn't matter how much work we've done, we've still got a monkey mind.
Yeah.
We've still got a monkey mind, which does tend to, as you said, to trawl up the same stuff over and over again, and in different situations. And then you recognize the patterns. This is a really, really topical topic at the moment. Is the repeating the patterns, and you think that you've mastered it over something. You go, right, I've got that one. I've finally got it. I've got that bullying one, but I've got it. I've nailed it. And then, like 6 months later, you suddenly find yourself being bullied by somebody completely different in a completely different way, and up it's come again. I love that question. What's the payoff?
Yes, very good. And I love what you just said, because that's the other thing I've been working with the people that I coach, is the fact that it is a journey. We kind of operate as if, okay, I'm going to fix this and then it's fixed forever, right? I'm going to handle this and then I've handled it forever. And you're right. It doesn't get handled forever. It has different dimensions, like an onion, and you peel off one layer and then you peel off another layer. And that people could be excited about the fact that they're at a deeper level. I hate it when people say that they've gone backwards, because no one goes backwards. You only go forwards. That's the only direction that you can go. You can't go backwards. You're in the present moment and you're moving into the next present moment. So we're always going forward. So whatever is happening is at a different, deeper level than it was when you experienced it the last time. And so you should congratulate yourself if it comes up again, because you're going to a deeper level of understanding about handling it. So I love when you said that. Yeah, it's a journey. Remember, it's a journey. It's not like one and over. It's a journey.
Yeah, it's like I've got this impediment in my life, check. This impediment in my life, check.
Good luck.
Because it just doesn't work. So it's really interesting that that whole scenario and beautiful play framework that you've outlined there. Is that particular for women, or is it men as well?
I think it's a human being thing, because when you complain about something and it keeps happening, I mean, just think how illogical that is. Why wouldn't you do something to change it? Why would you keep creating the same kinds of scenarios that prove, the thing that you're complaining about? Why would you do that? What are you getting out of it? So I think it's both men and women. But I think that for women, one of their rackets is, I'm not enough, or I'm less than. And so it's a good framework to be able to use when we're pretending that we're not enough. Say, well, what's the payoff here? Why am I being right about that? Wouldn't I rather have love, health, happiness, and full self-expression, and give up the need to be right about the fact that I'm not enough? Maybe I could just accept that, yeah, I am enough. Okay, now what?
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome and profound. I love it. So something else you want to share with us on the same subject?
No, I mean, like, I just love this whole idea that women are getting more in touch with their power and their ability, and that they don't have to be men to be in touch with their power. Women have a different way of expressing themselves. We represent more the community and the camaraderie and the more nurturing and the collaboration side of it. Although we have our masculine side too, where we're forceful and we're persistent and we can get things done. It's not that a woman doesn't have access to those kinds of expressions. But when she expresses that part of herself, her masculine side, it needs to be from the point of view that she's a woman, not that she's trying to be a man. And because when you're trying to be a man and you're a woman, you kind of let go of all the magical power that you have and prowess that you have in terms of the miracles that you can produce.
I think that's a really topical point as well, because there is also a kind of counter movement of I'd say feminism. It is feminism, especially in the spiritual kind of coaches world, where the sacred feminine is being, lauded as like on such a pedestal. That's such a pedestal, and she doesn't want to know about determination. She doesn't want to know about get things done. She wants to stay in flow state. She wants to stay in her moon cycles and and long gowns, and nurture her inner child. What do you think about that? Because I tend to call bullshit on it.
Well, I think anybody that operates in a way that it's not balanced is bullshit. Because we all have all of it, but it's how we express it through our special, particular uniqueness. And one of the things that we're unique about is we are a woman. And so it doesn't mean that we don't have masculine and feminine and that we have to operate in a particular way. It means that we have the ability to express through that particular personality or uniqueness. But we have access to all of the things that we can express. So I think that's kind of the trick to it all.
And that is such fun.
Yeah.
that is such fun when you're totally aware of your sass and your power and your charisma and the way that your feminine charms, that you don't have to dress it up. It's just there. And at the same time, you leverage all of these things that you've been watching guys do for a very long time that actually work. Just like making lists and a little bit of hustle and a little bit of grind and I mean you couldn't have done what you've done if you hadn't been very single-minded at some point. You certainly didn't sit down and meditate and have all those amazing prestigious circumstances and events and all sorts of opportunities come into you. It's because you work damn hard and you've been really, really bloody good at it.
Well, thank you. As you have too. And you've done the same thing. I mean, I look at all of the things that you've done in your life and it's amazing. From riding on the backs of horses to, having a whole catering company and cooking and designing and events. And I mean, you're amazing. There is one thing I've realized about men. I think that they tend to do something better than women that I think it's good for women to think about. And that is, most men I know make sure they get value for what they give. Mm. And women don't necessarily do that. So if a man is in, let's say, in a corporate situation and somebody says, I want you to do this extra responsibility or be responsible for an extra person or have more people on your team or take on a new item that you didn't have before in your area, the man will say, great. And what are you going to pay me for that? Whether it's in money or in vacation or in time or in prestige or in title or whatever. It doesn't necessarily always mean money, but it does mean that if I'm giving you something there's a equal value return exchange that I would be able to receive. And men seem to be more willing to ask for what is that particular exchange. Whereas women go in and they say, oh, that needs to be done. I guess I'll just do it because I like to contribute. But they don't be responsible all the time for making sure what they're contributing has a fair exchange of value in return. They just go, okay, well, it needs to be done and nobody's doing it, so I'm a part of the team. Well, yeah, that's a good quality also. We don't want to throw that out with the baby, the baby in the bathwater. But at the same time, you can't just give and then not receive something in exchange, because what that will lead to is resentment, or proving again that nobody cares about you and nobody thinks that you deserve something, So there's something in it there that we could be more responsible about getting the fair exchange.
Beautiful. So let's roll forward into the great unknown of 2023.
Oh my gosh.
I think the great unknown is it's just it's a bit like the 15th century. So how are you approaching this new year, Marcia? What's on the horizon? What are your aspirations? What's kind of in your heart to experience? Just tell us a little bit about your vision for next year.
Well, first of all, I'm excited because I'm going back on the road again. So I'll be in London in March, and February or March. I'll be in Davos in March or April, and I'll be in Toronto in late February. So what I'm excited about is getting out and being, live with people, because Zoom and online, that's great. And I'm developing my online packages of products for people and my club. But at the same time, I really enjoy the interaction and the real, being able to hug someone really, and going out to dinner really, and all of that. So that's what I'm looking forward to, kind of getting back in the game. It feels like 2023 is. We've all been sidelined a bit, others more than some more than others. But I think it's just, I feel this great feeling of back in the game, back to, being able to deliver something that it's like juicy. It feels juicy to me. So that's what I'm excited about.
That's fabulous. And it is, gosh, it's more than just juicy and back in the game. It's we're meant to be with other real human beings. And I totally hear you. Being very, very bereft of human contact for such a long time. I'm in rural France, and we know that we've got used to this really incredible online world of Zoom and connection, and it has been amazing. We've met so many incredible people, especially through the magazine as well. But you can't beat just real life humans, can you?
No, I think it's more fun when we get to hug each other and laugh and have a glass of wine together in a room where we actually are touching. So all of that I'm looking forward to.
So tell us a little bit more about your business and as where it's going next year, because I know that you're changing the platform up. So what's going to be available at the moment? I know it's the Marcia Martin Club. How's that going to evolve?
Well, right now it's an online digital library of my workshops and seminars, as you know, and you can go to marciamartinclub.com and register, and it's only $10 a month. And you can watch or listen to the seminars, podcasts, interviews, speaking engagements that I've done, and they seem to be really, really valuable for people. What I'm now expanding into is I'm taking several subjects that people really want to learn more about: public speaking, selling, being an effective leader, and I'm making actual online products that people can learn step by step how to be more effective in those areas. And my first product is going to be Talk This Way for Success. And it should be a required course for all human beings, because it's all the ABCs and everything you needed to know about how to connect, how to inspire, how to influence, how to impact. And I think that'll be really valuable for people. And then that will expand my ability to work with my club members. So I'm going to do some webinars and some special events for them only.
That's fabulous. And it's the theme of the article that you contributed to the magazine as well. So it is one of the most vital skills for this century, and you are an absolute master. I know it's one of your key genius zones is communication in all areas, for sure, especially for our audience of women leaders and aspiring women leaders. Communication is absolutely everything. You couldn't do better than being in the hands of this amazing lady.
Thank you.
Who looks eternally like she came out of the fountain of youth.
Yay! So far, so good.
Well, I'm sure it's everything that we've talked about today that keeps you young, keeps me young. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart yet again for being part of this project as we go forward and expand House of Preeminence and make the impact that we want through this platform. So thank you. I really appreciate you so much. And
thank you for the amazing contribution you make to so many women and so many human beings through the way that you express yourself in the magazine, the speakers that you have in the magazine, the authors that you have in the magazine, the articles that you have in the magazine. It's remarkable. We love you for this.
Thank you. And a very, very special thank you for Riley.
Riley and Riley's tale.
who did a wonderful job of decorating the screen earlier on. It was riveting. Yes. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure, and may we be here in many years to come, just doing the same thing.
Awesome. God bless. Thanks for listening to Talk This Way. If you enjoyed the episode, follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And for access to training, courses, and other ways to learn from Marcia, visit marciamartin.com. That's MARCIA.